Hello Seekers! Welcome to another deck building video. Today we are going to talk about In-gor, one of the dual faction seekers in Malediction. In-gor has the sigils for the Primal Blood and the Leisure of the Fallen, which means that he has access to all cards for both factions, plus some extra cards that are unique for his deck building. Let's take a look at the seeker first. Well, In-gor has Essence Binder, which is a great and very important ability for his style of gameplay, because he needs a lot of echo to spend his units and cast spells all the time. Note that Essence Binder happens every time an enemy unit is killed or is defeated during this unit's activation, so it can happen through his attacks or through his spell casting. Okay, it doesn't have to be at attacks only. So In-gor can be from the other side of the battlefield and it still kills the unit and gains 3 echo for his Essence Binder, and that's very important for us. Keep that in mind. Death Whispers, whenever a unit, and this can be any unit, okay, both yours or the enemies, is defeated within 6 inches from In-gor, you can basically look at the top card of your deck, leave it there, or put it on the bottom. And that's a major difference because you know what's the top card of your deck. If you want to leave it there, it means, for example, it's going to be a spell that you can cast using his legacy. We are going to talk about that later. Or a unit that you want to draw, and then you cannot kill, or at least you cannot let one of your units die during this round, otherwise you're gonna lose that card. Okay? And Regeneration 2. Stats wise, In-gor is not a very combatant seeker. It has low accuracy, low defense, and a medium HP pool, which means that we cannot leave him on the battlefront. He cannot be exposed to our enemies, otherwise he can die very fast, even though with Regeneration 2, which isn't that much, right? His legacy, when we talk about the FG of Chaos, has a complementary ability to In-gor's play style. Well, Chaotic Impulse says that whenever one of your units enters into your discard pile, which means basically that if one of your units die, you're going to first resolve Death Whispers, In-gor's ability, and look at the top card of your deck, leave it on top on the bottom, and then you are going to resolve FG of Chaos, Chaotic Impulse. Okay, it has to be in this specific order due to how the wording happens on these 2 cards. Once your unit is defeated, it goes to your discard pile, and then you are going to reveal the top card of your deck. If it's a spell, you can cast it by paying its echo. That's why you must use and abuse for SS Binder, because you always need to have the echo to cast your spells. If you want to play it, regardless if it's a channel spell or not, you can cast it by paying its echo. If you don't cast it because you don't want to, or because it's a creature, a unit card, for example, you just discard that card, and Cursive Resolve states that whenever you discard a card, you gain 2 echo. So basically, In-gor's engine runs around killing units and casting spells when your unit is defeated. Alright? So let's take a look on how we can deck build it, because dual faction seekers, they have minor complexity on their deck building. When we look at the pool, we have many more cards, right? We have both factions units, both faction spells, plus some unique spells that we can choose from. How we deal with that? We have to have a very good or very specific gameplay in our head. Especially the dual faction seekers, they can be built around different gameplays. For example, you can have In-gor using all ambush units and using the Shadow Shroud to give ambush to other units, and use Death Shroud Mire. And then you are going to have control over the battlefield with lots of units and stuff like that. Or you can choose to use no ambush units and, for example, use Starcast Hall and focus on Essence Binder units and many damage dealing spells. Or you can also focus on very cheap units, very expendable units, and Corpse Explosion and Cataclysmic Blast and other area spells to damage your units as well. There are several different playstyles. Today we are going to build a sample for In-gor, okay? I'm not going to use this ambush strategy. We are going to use basically, let me put the cards here for you. Basically we are going to use Cursed Host Boar because it's a very cheap creature and it's terrible to deal with. It has Death Throne, so when it dies it deals 3 damage to everybody in 3 inches. And Dire. Whenever an enemy unit is activated nearby this unit, it suffers 1 damage. It has Clumsy, which doesn't allow it to carry any items or relics, but for 2 echo, 8 movement, and 11 defense, the Dire and Death Thrones are very useful. We do want our board to die, so we use all of them. We are not going to use neither Cabramala nor Unshuvar Disciple because this strategy is going to run around expendable units. Okay, that's the most common. So we are also going to use the Tarok Beast, because it's a cheap unit, 10 movement is a lot, and Swarm 1 guarantees that it deals a reasonable damage, right? At least to annoy our enemies. We are also going to use the 3 copies of it. We are going to use Primal Totem, also because it is a very cheap unit, so it gives us another activation to play our spells. It does have Prey, which helps us, just like SS Binder, it helps us to have Echo to play our spells. Inspire is just a plus. 1 accuracy is useful, not that much, but it is there for us as a bonus. And Rally allows us to deploy units nearby this one, even if it is engaged. And that's very important because this makes our enemy to want to focus our totem. If any enemy spends like 2-3 hits to kill 2 Echo Totem, for us that's great. That's 2 attacks that are not going to go against our main units, okay? We do use the totem, but only 2 of them. We are not going to use any other of these minor units, otherwise we won't have enough body to protect In-gor or to put pressure on the battlefield. For the second row, which are our elite units, we are going to use 1 Boneclaw Rider because it is the best mobile unit we have access to. It has only 6 movement, but it has both dash and nimble, which allows it to move around the battlefield without provoking retaliation. We are going to use just 1 of it, I believe. We are going to use 1 Soul Whisperer, because Soul Whisperer is a ranged unit with 12 range, that's a lot. Curse is not that important for us, but 4 accuracy, 4 damage, and SS Binder is going to be very helpful for our strategy. We are going to use 1 of it as well, and because we need units that can carry relics for us, right? Since we are not going to go for ambush strategy, we are not going to use Farsight Ambusher. We are going to place both Flash Reaper because we want our units to explode and deal damage, right? That's the Tarok Beast, Curse Host Boar, and Flash Reaper's job. And from the bottom row, we are not using Sestionar. All the others go to your deck, to our deck, because they are our strong units. They are there to put pressure and win the game for us. Okay, so here we are going to have 15 units. Okay, we are not going to use any of the items we have available. We can just ignore them. And when talking about spells, basically we want damage dealing spells, sacrifice spells, and things that are going to kill everybody in an area. It is important for us that our units die, namely Flash Reaper and Curse Host Boar. So since we cannot attack our units directly, it is useful if we can kill them through any damage dealing spells as a collateral damage, alright? In-gor has access to Ravenous Swarm, which is one of his unique spells that makes basically 4 damage to an enemy unit and 2 damage to an ally. It is a channel, but if an ally was defeated during this activation, you can cast it as a swift. So for example, if I cast Corpse Explosion, one of my units is going to be defeated, I can cast Ravenous Swarm as a swift spell, okay, on the same activation, there is no problem. We are going to use 3 Corpse Explosion, 2 Ravenous Swarm, We are going to use 2 hard-stab blasts because it is area damage, okay? We are going to love our cataclysmic blast as well for the same reason. Nature's Wrath, it is a very funny looking spell because it's only 2 echo and 2 damage to everybody on a specific terrain piece. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I haven't had the chance to test it very much, so I don't often use it because I think there are better spells, but for 2 echo it's worth the try, but in a later video maybe. And American Death Skull, of course, we are going to use. We don't have that many undead or fallen units, but we don't care because we want to kill our units as well, basically, right? For the other spells here we have access to. Many people, and I believe the majority of people actually, love to use Chaotic Bargain. Basically, you have the chance to draw 2 cards or discard a card and draw a card. I don't like the value that this generates for us because you have the chance that basically you are going to gain 2 echo by discarding a card and draw another one, so it's 2 cards for 2 echo and a draw, or you use 1 card to draw 2 cards. The mechanics of it doesn't please me very much because I think In-gor has other mechanics like killing his own units that allows me to cast spells from the top deck, and I don't see much value to have this as 1 or 2 of my 30 cards. So I personally don't like to use Chaotic Bargain, okay? We are going to have 1 Price of Devotion. We already have 3 Corpse Explosion, which is our main sacrifice spell, but Price of Devotion is very important for us to protect our main units, okay? We are going to have it. We are also going to have Dreadheart's Presence. Although we are focused on damage dealing spells, there are those specific units we don't want to attack us. For example, nearby Thunder Steps or Vorendal. So we are going to keep 1 of these with us. Entrap the Mind is one of the strongest spells in the game. I have told you guys before on several videos, so we are going to use it. And we are also going to use 1 copy of Die Hard because, like I said, we want to protect our main units, and 1 copy of Retribution. I believe that's our deck. Retribution is a spell that I like it very much because very often our enemies are going to pump some units, right? And have a very strong damage output. For example, if a Thunder Steps charges you, or if a Secret smites you, or something like that, you can just use Retribution and repay the favor, right? So that's basically it's how we are going to build our In-gor deck. Let's see how it stays on the cards.io, right? Basically, we have 15 units here. Note that most of our units do have clumsy, so we have like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 out of our 15, 11 out of our 15 creatures cannot hold relics, so we rely on our Lonely Bonicle Rider, our Troll, so Whisperer, Thrice, and our In-gor itself to hold our relics. So we have to make sure that these units stay alive. Do not sacrifice them, do not let them alone amidst enemies. We have to be strategically when place our units, okay? And we have also 15 spells because in the end of the day, In-gor is just another spellcaster, a more chaotic one. It has a huge damage output. Most of our spells are towards dealing damage, but we do have some protection spells like Die Hard and Dreadheart's Presence to avoid we be overwhelmed by our opponents, okay? We want to have 15 spells because of In-gor's legacy. Every time one of our units die, we can trigger it and cast a spell for free, and we are going to have lots of our units dying because we want that to happen. So it is important for us to have several spells to better use that triggers, okay? When we look our deck's metrics, we notice that we have lots of cheap spells, or units as well, because we always want our deck to keep running and drawing cards and playing spells from the top deck and things like that. So the cost is very important with our SS binders, right? We have Soul Whisperer and we have In-gor with Essence Binder, but we also have the Totem with Prey. And since we are going to use lots of spells, we are going to choose, just for the sample of it, Starcast Howl for all terrain, okay? We have 15 spells, most of them are channel spells, and cost reduction can be very useful for us. You can of course use Death Shot Mire to block the vision from your enemies, or a Star's Pathway, because movement is always important. Just for the sake of it, I'm going to use Starcast Howl because it's funny, right? One thing we didn't talk about on TTS is the relics, right? What do we want with In-gor? So let me show you guys very quickly. For In-gor, basically, we want the top roll, okay? I have spoken about Boots of Celerity several times in several different videos. It is very good for everybody because it gives mobility, and mobility is very important in this game, right? But besides Boots, Spellwinter's Mask not only is going to protect In-gor or any other of your units, but it's a free healing light, which gives us 5 health by discarding any spell. So every spell we have, and we do have lots of spells, becomes a healing light. And note that we discard that card to recover 5 health, which means that it triggers In-gor's Legacy. So we have a spell we are not going to use, at least anytime soon. For example, we have Undeath's Call, and we are playing against Mordor or Vorendal that mostly use falling units. So we discard Undeath's Call, heal 1 unit for 5 health, and gain 2 echo back. It is a great trade-off. Not only that, but we also have spell immunity, which is very strong. So it's a very good relic for us. These are the 3 relics over here. They are here basically because they give In-gor range. We want him to be a little further on the battlefield to hit our enemies, but I have to mention that Tempest Scepter is the only way we can attack directly one of our units. When we trade a line for an attack using Tempest Scepter, we do make the attack against our own units as well. So with this, you can kill your own Cursed Horseboar, you can kill your Dying Flesh Reaper, and that's very precious for us, because our enemies sometimes may leave our units alive before they can, for example, reposition not to be in the blast, and we can go there and just kill our own units with an attack which is stronger than using a sacrifice spell. Alright, so that's a very good relic for In-gor. The other 2 here are only for the extra range, and the reliquary, because if you don't have any of the other ones to pick the reliquary, wait for a better moment in the game and trade it for something else, right? For our other units that can carry relics, like the Troll, Trice, and Soul Whisperer, we might want an extra attack because it means extra damage, and a possibility of healing one of such units, right? For the ones that stay in melee, Vengeance and Retribution is an awesome relic because it guarantees that we are going to strike back every time we get hit or grazed. Extra damage with Essence Binder, because Essence Binder is the name of the game for us, so that's a very valuable relic as well. And Helm of Wrath, basically because Berserk and Resistance makes our units stay alive for longer and do more damage. So these are the relics we want. The ones for the bottom row, usually they are not worth to be picked because we have very little units that can carry relics. Maybe with the exception from Everlasting Heart, that gives more HP, which is always useful. Ring of Time depends on the match, right? Because we might want to use our own spells, but the units that can carry a relic usually are better hitting stuff than spending 2 AP to cast another spell. That's why it's on the bottom row, okay? And the other 3 we just don't want them almost never. So I would advise you guys to pick one of the top rows here, okay? And that's pretty much the video for today. I hope you have enjoyed. In-gor is a blast to play with. I love to play him. He's one of my favorite seekers as well. You just have to be very careful when playing a deck with that many cleansing units, okay? It is hard, but it's tons of fun. If you are with me until now, I hope you have enjoyed. I hope this video helps you on your gameplays. Let me know in the comments if you use this deck. The link for this card.io deck is on the comments below. And don't forget to like this video, subscribe and share with your friends. Until next time, Seekers!